Welcome once again to We the People, a new birth of freedom. I encourage you to subscribe and please leave your comments below and I'll respond. For some weeks now, we've been discussing the Declaration of Independence, and we've come to understand that that Declaration of Independence, which independence signifies sovereignty, that Declaration of Sovereignty, independence, is the foundation, the bedrock upon which we as Americans are built, which gives us the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the justice and equality established by the founding fathers of this United States of America. And because of that, it's important that we look at several words and see how they all fit into this Declaration of Independence, or, on the other hand, see how they don't fit. We have in the land what's been known for many, many, many decades. I haven't really looked up the origination of where all this started, but we have what's called political science. Well, let's look at the word science. The intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. So it's just a study. And anything that is studied, it hinges upon perception or some ideology, some supposition or speculation, or even an observable construct, but still it can be extremely subjective, depending on one's influence and resource. So, what is called political science, I have to chuckle at that because I don't see that as a science at all. I know the intention of the politicians may be to establish their views and their ideologies as a science, but it's not really a science. At best, it's a pseudoscience. At worst, it's a compilation of lies, hypocrisy, manipulation, and corruption. Nevertheless, that is the definition of science. Then we have theory. Theory is a supposition or a system of ideas intended to explain something. Intended to explain something. Good intentions, I guess. Sometimes it's accurate, and many times it's not. It's a mere supposition. Once again, it's based on perception, supposition, speculation. And once again, those can be moved left or right depending on the influence and resource. Then we have what is called empirical. Empirical is based on or concerned with or verifiable by observation or experience rather than theory or just pure logic. Let me read that again. That which is empirical is based on or concerned with or verifiable by observation or experience rather than theory or pure logic. Because theory, science, doesn't always have a solid foundation by which to work with. It's just an observation or an experiment. But empirical is that which is experienced, not only observed, but also experienced. And it goes beyond mere theory and even pure logic. So, what empirical signifies is it addresses the actuality of something. Now, actuality is the actual existence of, typically as contrasted with that which was intended, expected, or believed. The actuality of something, once something is proven to be actual, that is the truth of something, many times it goes in contrast to what was initially intended, expected, or believed. It goes against those theories and logical conclusions. Because truth stands alone. And we live in the midst of truth every day, even though we're surrounded by lies, hypocrisy, pseudoscience, pseudopsychology, pseudo-medicine. There's a lot of impersonations out there. But then at the core of that, you can't have an imitation or an impersonation without having an original to work off of. There has to be an original first before an impersonation or a counterfeit can be copied. So, when Thomas Jefferson penned those words in the Declaration of Independence, he wasn't talking about a counterfeit. He wasn't talking about an impersonation, a clone. He wasn't talking about theoretical science, political science. He wasn't talking about laws legislated by man's perception. He looked into the depths of truth, and he found truth in the laws of nature, which can be observed and experienced on a daily basis. And it's incontrovertible. You can't change it. You can alter it, you can hybrid it, but the principle of truth contained in the laws of nature, governed by nature's God, is incontrovertible. You can't dispute it. It's there. It's right before our eyes. So, he said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. It's incontrovertible. It's empirical in its nature. It's actual. It's truth. That all men are created equal. That all humankind have the same access to the equality that exists between those truths that he's going to list. And they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. See, it's incontrovertible. That among these, here's these truths, these principles, according to the laws of nature that he's talking about. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are the truths by which America was founded. It was not based on theory, hieroglyphics, some poetic expression. It certainly wasn't founded upon a Shakespearean sonnet. It wasn't some guru expressing his flamboyant, charismatic wisdom and insight. It was actual, according to the laws of nature. Because all it took was just to look around and see that everyone comes by the laws of nature. We are not born by political science. The conception in the womb does not take place according to the laws or the supposition of theory. Conception does not take place in a mother's womb according to political science theory and speculation. It's not according to a Supreme Court definition of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's actual, it's truth, it's solid, incontrovertible truth. A sperm, a live sperm, unites with a live egg. Conception takes place. That's incontrovertible. That's immutable. There's no other place to go. In other words, it starts with a seed. Everything in the laws of nature starts with a seed. And everything that's going to be manifested is contained in that seed as long as there's no outside interruption or even an internal crisis or problem. Everything starts with a seed. And that seed has contained within it life, not death, not speculation, not supposition, not theory, but life, real life. And within that life force, the liberty to develop begins to manifest itself, which paves the way for the pursuit of happiness of that life. That's empirical. I would debate that with any Supreme Court justice, any president of the United States, any politician from both parties. I would debate them and welcome a debate of what I am speaking of. So, Are we founded upon truth and the laws of nature? Is our life, liberty, justice, equality, the pursuit of happiness founded upon the Declaration of Independence? Or our roots are discovered in political theory, political laws? No, no, not at all. You're not going to find life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in those entities. Our founding fathers wanted to use the political platform and laws legislated by man to protect these inalienable rights that's inherent, intrinsic, actual inside of us. That's what it was made for. Not to circumvent the laws of nature, not to try to surmount the laws of nature, not to undermine the laws of nature, but to continually nurture it and support it. Because without independence, without individual sovereignty, there is no life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in the context of true freedom. What you have, once again, is tyranny and totalitarianism governed by man's law instead of the laws of nature and nature's God. Until next time, please, above all things, be a true American.